XL.
Hello on this Tuesday, but goodbye and farewell to Daniel Thomas, Cameron Silman-Craig, Chad Muma, Jaquindon Jackson, Javon Foster, and Jordan Jefferson. Those players so far, at least according to reports, NFL insiders are all going to be released by the Jaguars. Of course, the news will be made official in just about 2 hours. But y'all, let's start with Daniel Thomas. I think that's the one of all of those that might have been the most surprising. Not incredibly surprising, Tom, because you do have the fact that, and by the way, Aaron Beasley hanging out with us today from 2 to 3.
By the way,
I'm just jumping right in. We got too much to do. But yeah, Daniel Thomas has been a great gunner here. We know his speed, but they did draft Ray Lane, and we knew that he was going to be a great special teams contributor. And also Antonio Johnson, as far as safeties are concerned, has played well. So Daniel Thomas, drafted in 2020, was a great Jacksonville Jaguar, again, on special teams mainly. Yeah,
listen, I mean, I think it probably came down to him and Darnell Savage. Savage can do a little bit more on the field, can play nickel, can play safety. I think Lane showed he's going to be a heck of a special teamer. Antonio Johnson can run down. I don't know. I'm not surprised. Like, nothing surprises me in the NFL. I do think there's an underlying tone that if it's close, the new regime's going to go with their guys. They're not going to stick with the old regime. But so if it's close at all, then that's what they're going to do. So we wish him well. He'll get picked up. Someone's going to get a heck of a player. He may not be a starting safety, but he can play safety beast. I mean, he's not a liability out there, but his main gig is running down on teams and making things happen. Daniel Thomas has shown that he can do that.
Well, you got to have guys that know the playbook, because every year we see the injuries happen.
Yep.
We always had the next man up mentality, and that backup safety is very important because, like you said, the special teams part, they're most likely on all the special teams. And then if somebody goes down, you have to have a reliable guy back there. You can't just throw guys out there.
Yeah, so let's see. So who do we have left then in the backup? So, we know who the starters are. Ransaw, we don't know what they're going to do with him yet. They're going to keep him, obviously.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Does he go on IR for the first 4 games? Who else do I have? Antonio Johnson, who's in the running to stay. Lane, the third, who we just talked about. Am I missing anybody?
No, and then you mentioned Savage already, and then Eric Murray and Dewey Inger will be
they're the starters, right? Yeah. So it looks like they've got their defensive set, or at least their safety room set. And here's the thing: I wouldn't be surprised if there's even more turnover. I mean, just because you make it today doesn't mean you're going to make it tomorrow. Or next week, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks from now, because teams are always looking to upgrade. When they are.
Yeah, and I think that we've talked about it a ton. That safety room's been interesting from the beginning of what's going on. But to your point, Tommy, when you you draft 2 guys in that room, those are your guys at that point, and Eric Murray also, because you paid him in the offseason. So I do think that the Darnell Savage was probably the closest into having the conversations of not making it. Right. But he's been in the league for a long time, too, and to your point, he's very versatile, and you've seen him play all over the field. So you have that versatility mixed with your guys, then that combination makes sense.
And we talked about this yesterday. If you're not starting, then you're a backup. So then let's compare them as special teamers. Daniel Thomas to Ray Lane the third. He's not that much better than them. They go younger. They get their guy in there. They get a rookie, and he can do it. So you can see why they made the move.
And they make less money, those rookies.
Yeah.
So long term, it's going to be part of it. But I can understand where Jaguars fans all across the land today are going, dang it, Trent Baalke. Oh, yeah. Dang it. Like, why did you saddle us with these players? Obviously, including, like I mentioned, Chad Muma, Javon Foster, Jordan Jefferson. Chad Muma's a guy that maybe had he not had the injury coming into training camp, we saw him play all training camp and preseason with that club hand. He had surgery on his right ring finger in the offseason. Maybe had he come in fully healthy, Taylor, maybe he's able to play a little bit better, and he gets that interception that ended up bouncing off of him.
Yeah.
And not that one play is going to make that much of a difference, but maybe he plays a little bit better if he's not injured. But in the end, obviously, it looks like he's going to be released.
Yeah, Muma barely made my 53 last year. I haven't ever been the biggest Muma fan. I don't know why, but I do think that you come in and we talked. The moment Kaiser was drafted, we did our stock downs, and Chad Muma was my stock down in that point. And I think that also is another relative of it's not their guy either. And so they want to build. They built these guys based around which Coach Campanile and his scheme and the things that he likes. And I just don't know how well Chad Muma fit into that mindset.
Kaiser made more plays.
Yeah.
And that's their guy, and it's time for Chad to move on. Look, as far as good or not, we're going to find out. People pick them up and they become contributors, and they're good players just because they didn't fit here. So, like I said, I think DT will get picked up. I bet you Muma gets picked up. I bet you somebody will be like, hey, third rounder, let me see what we can do with him. Maybe he's a bagger, maybe get him on special teams. I mean, he actually was pretty good on special teams, Chad was, overall. I think he's good against the run, but he doesn't blitz very well. Yeah. He doesn't cover very well. And again, Kaiser's better than him at this point, so you're going to go with the guy you drafted.
And they picked up Dennis Gardeck. So once you start adding more and more linebackers.
Does he fit the system is the question.
Right. Yeah.
And that's probably why they let him go.
Yeah, and he's playing more inside than Gardeck and Yasir, but still you can see why. It's a crowded room. Somebody's got to go. It's not going to be their guys if they're close or even. But in this case, I just think Kaiser's better.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Talking about when you were just saying, Lauren, the bulky people kind of looking at bulky right now. I was looking earlier. Outside of the first round, only 12 of 32 players. 12 now. 12 of 32 players that Trent Baalke drafted outside of the first round are left on the team right now at this point. That's not a very good hit, right?
Yeah. But I was about to say, we just talk about the safety room. It's all the different numbers, though. They need more depth on the offensive line, so they might keep more linemen. I feel like, the safety, all of those guys are, like you said, kind of similar, speed-wise. Maybe a little bit of youth with Johnson.
Yeah, and Lane, yep.
But, those guys are all similar build, similar athletic abilities, just knowing the game.
Yeah. I really like Antonio Johnson. I think he could play for you, and I think he's going to be great on special teams. So, again, look, it's tough. It's not, it seems like, these guys are bad. They're this. You know what I mean? These are tough decisions.
Yeah, it's a close call. And also, going back to the linebacker conversation, we've talked about it, Branson Combs. If they really like him, then that also knocks a guy like Chad Muma out of contention.
Absolutely. And then you got to figure out Abdullah.
Right.
And Gardeck. I think it's Gardeck over, but Yasir seemed to be making plays all throughout camp. I'll tell you, that was one guy I had totally not even near the roster, but then they put him at Sam, and you're like, because I'd watch him in practice and against the run. Now, granted, it's not full speed, but he was always in on the tackle when he was out there, it seemed like, or at least when it came to his side. And then I watched him rush a few times in practice. You're like, well, it looks like he's worked on his game a little bit. And now he's in the running to, be a pretty good contributor for this team. Great story.
That's like an unseen factor. If a guy's making plays at practice, he's probably going to do it in a game because you can't like see instincts. Guys just have it.
Right.
Like I always say, I wasn't the fastest, but I knew the game. And some guys just know the game and attack quicker and aren't afraid to make that play.
Yeah. And look, Muma had a rough night. I'm sure that just kind of put the the knife in the coffin, so to speak. Sounds awful.
I was say not the cherry on top, but it's funny. Today feels like it feels like free agency with all the transactions that are happening. Yeah. And yet it's the opposite, obviously, feeling, though, for all these guys. Like, free agency, obviously, they're getting new contracts and making a lot of money. Today, they're getting released, or at least according to reports, to getting released.
Yeah, well, the ones we're hearing about, but there's guys finding out that they're making the team, too, by not getting cut. So there's that side of it, too, today.
Look, it's sad on one end, and then it's exciting because we're getting our team together. Yeah. And we're going to find out, like, hey, Carolina's next week. It's almost go time. So
why does that give me anxiety?
Well, no, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I'm normally excited.
Enough of this crap.
I know, but week one is feels to me so make or break for this team. It should not be that way. No, the NFL season is 17 games. It should not feel that way. But because it's Carolina, like, I would almost feel better if the first game was the Bengals or the Ravens or the Chiefs or the Bills. Because
then you are starting off 0-1, probably.
Yeah, if they lose to the Panthers, I just feel like full panic mode sets in, and we're no longer talking about, okay, get off to a good start. It goes, well, how are you going to beat the Bengals if you can't beat the Panthers?
Yeah.
At home.
That's and I think there's positives and negatives. We talked about this, and Tommy's mentioned it too, in college football, but of playing those better teams right out the gates, would you rather do that because you kind of get a bigger test and you see really what you have, or would you rather get eased in and have, Trevor and some of these guys play a little bit of an easier team to get the flow of things and then head in? But they have a stretch of very difficult games after that first one, so you do hope you come out of that 1-0, and if that's ugly, then it will be. It will be worse.
Carolina won't be easy.
No, I don't think it'll be easy either.
No easy.
I don't think they'll be
not easy, but not as hard
comparably to the ones you have after that.
Exactly. Yeah. Although you do get the Texans week 3 without Joe Mixon, so at least there's that because he did go on.
But they have Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I know. I was listening to the Frangie show talk about that yesterday, and they're like, well, then they have nobody. I was like, well, it depends what Nick Chubb is. And when we talked to Mary Kay Cabot, that covers the Browns, and this was a month ago, she already said that Nick Chubb was looking like he was ready to go and be very close to. She was like, and if he's 85% of what Nick Chubb is, that's a very good running back.
What about Dameon Pierce? Is he still there?
Yep, he is.
He ripped through us a couple times, so I wouldn't count him out. I know he's a Gator. You love him, but he is. He's a tough runner, so I wouldn't just say he's any kind of pushover at all. But, look, you want to start off quick, and I'd rather play Carolina because I want to see, and so does the team. What's this offensive line look like? What do we have? Are we gonna go out there and push these guys around and control the line of scrimmage and get a running game going, get Trevor comfortable, get everybody in rhythm and sync? That's what you want. Because if you go against Kansas City, they might, just send Chris Jones up and down the line and just dominate you
then
like he did last time.
And
then
you're
you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do now? So,
or on the flip side, you go against Carolina and it looks terrible, and then then you feel even worse. But no, I think this team, even though we have talked so much about the new head coach, the new offensive coordinator, the new defensive coordinator, I do think that they have a plan. And I think this game is really important, obviously, to Liam Coen and company. All right, Tom's takeaways are on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 2.5 FM.
Get national insight from a local legend.
I know exactly who this man is.
Mike Duraco.
And we get his insight every Thursday from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. Brightened by Lee and Kate's Glass on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here for Coen Son Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports memories. Remember the 2017 AFC Championship game when Miles Jack wasn't down? Do you know what else isn't down? Fences installed by Coen Sons. Their fences have been standing tall here in Jacksonville for nearly a century. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coen Sons today at 904-356-4821 or visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. CoilJacks.com.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. It's a sauce kind of football season with Chick-fil-A chicken strips. Each crispy, juicy bite only gets better when you choose your favorite sauces to dip into and create your own flavor combinations. Will it be sriracha and ranch, honey and buffalo, barbecue, and Chick-fil-A sauce with 21 different sauce pairings possible? It's easy to go on a flavor adventure. Order in a 4-count, 10-count, or in a catering tray. Get an order started today in the Chick-fil-A app and dip on into football season.
You wouldn't drive your car 50,000 miles without an oil change, so why are you ignoring your septic tank? Septic tanks need to be pumped every 3 to 5 years. Call 904-862-6769 to schedule your septic pump out with the pros at Duck Duck Rooter.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hayes' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. Whether it's a long day on your feet, a demanding workout, or everyday aches and pains, you need relief that can keep up when pain persists. Aleve is here for you with longer-lasting body pain relief compared to leading OTC-branded pain relievers. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
Right now at Beard's Diamonds, pay $0 down and get 0 interest financing for 5 whole years. Yes, you heard it right. That $12,000 designer engagement ring is yours now for just $200 a month. This makes everything affordable. How about a $6,000 diamond eternity band, just $100 a month? Say goodbye to high interest rates. Get the relief you deserve at Beard's Diamonds. But hurry, this incredible offer ends August 31st and will not be extended. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, only $50 a month? Make any purchase and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 down and 0 interest financing. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, colored gemstone jewelry. Let our non-commissioned experts at Beards help you find the perfect piece of jewelry and take advantage of our best financing offer ever. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center, Jacksonville's premier locally owned jeweler. Shop now and enjoy 0 interest financing for 5 years. Hurry, this amazing offer ends August 31st. On approved credit, some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Jacksonville, Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high-interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
I guess some of these players, this is what they're saying to the general manager. Baby, hold on to me. James, please hold on to me.
No, that's to their girlfriends who are going to leave them because they didn't make the team.
Yeah, they're like, hold on. Ooh, ouch.
Ouch is right.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking from experience.
Yeah, sure.
From what I remember.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, Aaron Beasley, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you as we continue to talk Jaguars. Cut down day is today as the Jaguars have to go to 53 players and then maybe some players on IR. So we'll certainly continue to track it. I want to go to the running backs. I think a lot of people were thinking that maybe Jaquin Jackson would make the Jaguars practice squad. Do you think, Tom, because it looks like he's going to be released, do you think that another team will pick him up?
I think they'll take a long, hard look at him, and I think if he clears, they'll bring him back. Yeah, he'll be on the practice squad. Look, he really shined during practice. You know, he did, and he shined against Miami. It took him a little bit to get going. It's too bad he didn't hit the ground running that second game. I know the first game he didn't see any time, so that kind of gave you the writing on the wall as far as the pecking order, so to speak. So, I mean, look, you can keep 4, but you're not going to use 4 on game day. You know what I mean? So you can't keep 5.
No,
you know what I mean? But yeah, I look, if you're in need of a more of a punishing type running back,
right?
You know, not a change of pace, quick scat back type, but a pounder. I would take a look at him. I'd bring him in and see if he fits my team and fits everything else. And maybe he's just a backup, you know, but you always need short yardage, goal line. You know, he could be a special type of running back there. But at the end of the day, I kind of feel like he'll just be back here on the practice squad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that. And I think even most teams don't even keep 4 running backs. So that's already, you have 4 on your roster and then another one that you kind of expect that to happen. I don't know if, and we talked early, Lauren, well, you kind of mentioned maybe they didn't play him initially because they didn't want people to see. And it kind of felt like that because what we had seen at camp was like, whoa, this guy can run over some people, and that's the type of back that a lot of people are looking at and looking for in this time. And so it's interesting, but he is one of those guys that I think that when we talk about the different types of backs the Jags have on their rosters, he's a little bit different than what they have on there. So if you end up needing that type of running back and you have some injuries, you have somebody that you can pull up and can at least truck some people down the middle.
Yeah, and he made a nice cut against Miami to the left. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he saw good vision, and then he ran the guy over, if you remember that. But it was a nice cut right before that once he got through the hole and to the left. And, you know, look, he is a big, powerful dude. But, you know, look, when you get cut, you know, if it's a guy who'll get picked up, a lot of guys will, but the percentages are really small. Most guys aren't getting picked up.
Well, I mean, it's the top 1%. And it's like one of those things where the versatility comes into play again because a lot of running backs aren't good tacklers.
Right.
So imagine if they really worked on being football players where the tackling part is so big. I mean, special teams is one of the biggest parts.
Got to tackle
the most yardage
teams. Right.
is exchanged in special teams during every game.
Yeah.
You know, the punts and the kickoffs. But, I mean, that's what hurts a lot of these running backs. They don't have the ability to play special teams.
Yeah.
Because they never needed to.
Yeah.
Because they were one of the elite
They were star players
on their team. Yeah,
Remember
exactly.
Zach Crockett? Remember Zach, the running back for Florida State?
Yep.
He was on our kickoff team. He was incredible, man. He loved running down there and making plays. But you're right. You don't think about that as a running back. Can he tackle? Is he a good special teamer? I don't know. Can he tackle? I have no idea. Let's see him out there. And if he can tackle, that's a great point.
That's what I try to tell kids.
Was he willing to tackle?
Don't label yourself a wide receiver. You be a football player.
An athlete.
Until you make it. you know?
Absolutely.
Tom's talked about his experience getting cut in New Orleans. Were you ever released?
I was never signed back, but
okay.
I mean, I've seen it though. You know, you become friends with guys, and you think they're going to make it, but then it's always a numbers game where it may be not his abilities. It's that we got to keep 10 linemen, so we got to let go of a defensive back.
Yep.
Yeah, I mentioned Cameron Stillman Craig earlier. He went to Colorado, and so you know that he and Travis Hunter have to be close. Oh yeah, because he's a safety, so they would have played alongside each other on that defense. And so I'm sure this is the first wave for those young guys of in the NFL. Like, oh man, I've been told my whole life this is a business, and I'm well aware of what that means. But it's different when it's your friend, when it's your college teammate that has to, go on this. Not the
Mason
streets,
Smith and Justin Jefferson, those Jordan Jefferson. Sorry, I always say Justin Jefferson and coach last year. So it's like they brought the coach and multiple players, and then now Mason Smith's like, well, I'm here.
Last one standing.
The show must go on.
Yeah, but I'm sure too that there are some of these guys looking around, the guys that now Balky drafted, not a Brian Thomas Jr., but certainly some others that are like, I wonder, how long I'm going to be playing here, because clearly this regime is sending a message that they much prefer the guys that they brought in, even if it's through free agency or certainly trades as well.
And if it's not this year, it's next year.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like how long am I going to be a Jaguar?
Absolutely.
It does change things. So we saw online that Cam Robinson looks like he might be on the trade block there with the Texans. Would you want him back? I would say yes at this point in time. I think he would be potentially a good, if not left tackle or right tackle, probably left tackle, swing tackle.
He adds depth.
He does.
That's the one thing.
I think he's better than Cole Van Lannon.
Yes.
I don't think he is better than Cole Van Lannon.
Okay.
No. I think he struggled last year. He gave up a lot of pressure and sacks at Minnesota.
And a lot of penalties.
Yeah, and a lot of penalties. Now, I see what you're saying, because it's not like he's bad, but I think we've seen that.
Okay.
We've got that here. We've got that in Walker. They're about the same. Him and Cam
I think Cam, he had, I feel like the one good season, and people hung on to that for so long. But there was a lot of mediocre. There were injuries wrapped around it. There was a lot of other things, and then since then you've seen struggles too. And I don't know if I want to take anybody off of the worst offensive line in the NFL last year.
I'll tell you the positive. He's got the right mentality. You know what I mean? He's always
he's one of the guys that will fight for you for sure.
Yeah. So and good in the run game for the most part. I mean, struggled a little bit here and there, but I think you just, unless you have to, there's nobody else. I think you let him find another team.
And that's another thing. We don't know who's going to be released. Like in 4 o'clock, everything will be shown, and there could be other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
That just don't make the cut. Yeah.
He'll get picked up, though, I bet. I saw the Bears might be looking at him. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, no.
Yeah, I thought I read that. So I'm sure Cam Robinson will have
I don't even know if they'll end up releasing him because they are looking for trade partners, but yes, potentially.
Supposedly this rookie, I don't have his name, beat him out, and he's supposedly a pretty good player.
Arante
beat Cam out.
Yes,
Ursary.
Yeah, where's he from? He's a rookie, wasn't he?
He is a rookie. I don't know.
I remember talking about him a lot.
I remember he was part of the draft talk. I remember that last name. So it looks like he had a great camp and made Cam Robinson expendable, at least to second team. It's a rumor they're trying to trade him, right?
Minnesota.
Yeah, that's right. He's a big dude too, I think, from what I recall. Cool.
They always have those
6'6", 331.
I was about
Do you
to
think
say,
that's large?
Would
you put that in big categories?
Yeah, love
they
that.
always have those Paul Bunyan types.
Yeah, they do. They do. That's right.
Yeah, the NFL insiders are saying it's a fluid situation as far as Cam Robinson's concerned. It just surprised me a little bit because their line is so bad. And I know, it wasn't his best season last year by any means. But I just wondered if they would be able to find another team that needs help along the offensive line. Like, I feel like a team like the Titans that have tried to upgrade, but still, if you're talking about depth, I feel like Cam Robinson is probably better than some of the depth pieces that some of these teams have.
Definitely depth-wise, I think. But when we have the conversation here, to Tommy's point, I think if you don't have somebody that can at least push Walker Little to start, then the goal here somebody needs to push Walker or be able to play that left tackle spot over him.
Yeah, and then look, if you you go to the player, hey, will you be a backup? He may be like, nah.
No. Which I know
we
that's,
don't know. Maybe he says yes. But.
One of the reasons that Cam left in the previous regime dealt with that because they told him like he wasn't going to be able to
start that day.
Yeah, he was not a
I
happy
remember.
camper, right? And so that attitude certainly doesn't help you long term. And so this regime may say, yeah, we don't want to deal with something like that.
Yep.
What about Big Dez? Can we get Big Dez Watson to Jacksonville from Tampa? I know he did not make weight, but I feel like this team could at least plug him in, occasionally.
He's a one-down person. He's a one-downer.
Watch him go to Philly, be part of the tush push. And
honestly, Philly would be creative enough to like make something
He
work.
went to the wrong school though, Florida, not Georgia.
Yeah, that's true.
Right,
it is.
right,
He's just such a massive human. It is. I hate the way they approached all of that though, and I know we've talked about that. But you're talking about how this player's overweight, but then you don't let him even. I feel like you needed to force him to do some things and be active. And I know he can't physically practice with the team, but every video I saw, he was just like standing on the sideline, like hitting a couple things on his own. And I was like, how are you expecting him to hit a goal weight if you have nobody over there? And granted, this is little clips we're seeing. Maybe he did have somebody and it still wasn't working, but
or maybe they just didn't feel like investing in him because they didn't draft him.
Maybe they saw health problems and liability.
Yeah, maybe there's something they're not saying. Like maybe they're worried about his something. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a monster of a human being. Throw him a nose tackle and let him
I love
eat
that
up
he was
people.
number 21.
Yeah.
I used to always get on Fred about that.
Yeah.
Fred, you see that big old 21?
Yeah, right.
I feel bad for him, I guess, in a sense, like to struggle with something like that and to know, like, I'm sure this is his dream because he worked so hard in college, even if he wasn't able to lose the weight. Like, and some people are just massive human beings and their body doesn't shed weight the way that other people's do.
Yeah, and you knew what you were getting. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, like we were saying, like maybe there's something there that we don't know
some
about. You know what I mean? Like there's some worry that something could happen.
Yeah.
We
can't have a guy out there making all that money for one play per series.
True.
Too,
And I was just thinking about
She's like, there's my one snap.
I know in college he got it done, but is he quick enough out of his stance in the pros? Because they can still take you for a ride.
Yeah.
Those two, guard and center, I don't care if you're 400 pounds. They're going to take you for a ride if you're standing straight
How
up.
quickly can you get your head up to look at what is coming?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But hopefully, for him, he can find a pass somewhere in the playing ball.
Yeah, I put in our group chat that only one of us has Tony Baselli's number. So I need you to get that done. Big Dez was one of the first players. Yeah, he was one of the first players that had an NIL deal. It was a small NIL deal, but he had it with this company called Spencer's Jerk and Jerky.
Oh,
and they advertised
they
with us on helmets and heels, and they sent me a T-shirt that said like Big Meat. That was his nickname, and the logo and everything. And they told me they would send me some free jerky if I wore the T-shirt to SEC Media Days. So of course I did. So I just have always had a soft spot for Big Dez.
I love that.
How was the jerky?
Yeah, it was delicious.
Excellent. I shared it. It was excellent. All right, we've got more to do on the other side. Certainly needed to continue talking Jaguars. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 10 to Next on 92.5 FM.
Join Jim Furyk and other legends of the PGA Tour for the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, October 3rd through 5th at Timuquana Country Club. Catch the new community concert series on the 17th hole after play, featuring country artists Low Cash and Love and Theft. Public parking is free with complimentary tournament access for military, courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Get tickets now for the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, starting at just $25 at Ticketmaster.
At Coen Atlantic, the savings are back in session. You'll just need to follow these simple rules to make the most of your back to school. Step 1, switch out your car for an upgrade. Step 2, drive a new Kia starting at $20K. Step 3, make no payments for a whole 90 days. Hurry in to start back to school in a big way. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Coen Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Quality work is sometimes hard to come by these days, and if you want quality in a fence that'll last, make the call to Duval. Duval Fence, that is, a good Jacksonville company with good Jacksonville people committed to quality service. If you need a fence for your home or a business, anything, just call Duval Fence at 260-4747. Give them an idea of what you're looking for, and they'll take care of the rest. Property fence, privacy fence, pool or pets. Make sure you call Duval Fence today.
Jacksonville. Disrupted is here. From the PGA's cutting-edge Tourcast to game-changing sports science, technology gets its spotlight. The 27th of August. Get your tickets at disruptitfl.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Have you ever dreamed of owning a handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm? Well, now you can. This is Frank Frangie for the farm in Okefenokee, just an hour north of Jacksonville in Folkestone. With only 250 cabins at full build-out, it's a rare chance to live off-grid, but not alone, in a community grounded in nature, food, and purpose. The amenities include a 2,300-acre hunting lease. Learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com.
Joe C. for Preferred Roofing, reminding you your roof is more than just felt and shingles. It's a system that not only keeps your home dry, but also impacts your heating and cooling bills. Preferred Roofing and Construction is a GAF Master Elite Roofing Contractor, lauded for having the ability to educate and inform homeowners on their options. Why GAF and Preferred Roofing? They're veteran-owned and operated with ties to Duval for decades. A family business ready to make sure your family has a good roof over its head. Log on, preferredroofingjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
We're going to talk more Jaguars in a second, but I've got odds for the Super Bowl halftime show for, of course, the 2026 Super Bowl. You can probably guess who has the best odds. She got engaged a little earlier today.
Yes, Taylor Swift. I figured that one. We were talking about it a couple weeks ago that I was already hearing there were little like Easter eggs because she was talking about Sourdough, who's the mascot for the Niners and the Super Bowls in San Francisco. And then she's kept harping the number 59, which is Super Bowl 15. So like all these things that people were already linking, the Swifties. And so, this probably adds to it.
Oh, yeah. They love that stuff. And I mean, in theory, for their relationship, I suppose it would be cool if the Chiefs won the Super Bowl and she was the halftime performer. But we don't really care about
fun.
Yeah, we don't really care about
Get Metallica out there. I don't know what the NFL's problem is.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm a rock band.
Metallica's odds are 12-1.
Oh.
So Taylor's are 1-1. So obviously the clear favorite.
She's got it.
I want to see, Tom has daughters, so I know for sure you'll know some of these, but I want to see, Bees, if you know some of these artists. Dua Lipa.
Yes.
All right, 7-1 odds.
Dua Lipa? Come on.
She got a good song.
She got a good song, Bees. That's right.
I know. I just got to, it'll come to me.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, yeah, I know.
No.
Okay, she's got 8-1 odds.
Is that country?
Really?
She's not country. It's more
that song
pop.
taste is interesting. Let me tell you, my girls like that one. But yeah, she'd be good.
10-1 odds, tied with 10-1. There's 3 bands tied or people tied. Mariah Carey, everyone's obviously heard of her. Miley Cyrus, and Oasis, because Oasis just started touring again. For the first time in like 20 years. And then Billie Eilish, I've heard of her. I have never heard, Taylor, maybe you can help me, or Tom, Charlie XCX.
Yeah, I've heard her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And Beast could have helped too. And then I mentioned Metallica. They're tied with Jay-Z, 12-1 odds. So there you go.
That's very
for
interesting.
the next Super Bowl.
Okay. I love Billie Eilish, but she has the saddest, slowest music in the
Yeah,
entire.
yeah,
That would
she's
be
got
the
cool,
most
that doesn't feel good.
everyone would just be crying at halftime. I guess. Yeah, taking a little
and
nap.
I'm now depressed, everybody.
Doesn't she like to just cover herself up and hide from everybody anyway? Like,
Yeah, she wears
dresses-
hoodies and stuff. Yeah, over.
Yeah, she
overgrown
dresses
clothes.
like Adam Sandler.
Yeah. She does. She's got some cool music though.
She does. She's fantastic.
She got a
Her
good
voice
voice.
is
Her
beautiful,
voice.
but that's not a halftime.
There were a couple gongs in there. I don't like Mariah. I don't know. I mean, she's obviously got a great voice, but I don't know about.
Look at her the whole time. Yeah. She's good look.
I think that's why he was more interested in Dua Lipa. All right, back to the Jaguars. DeAndre Prince, yesterday we found out that he was most likely going to be released. Bees, I think that surprised you just a little bit?
Just because second-year guy and not making it to the next season, that to me, that's some kind of issue up top. You know, if we can't keep guys, if you draft them and leave them go in what round, I don't care what round it is, you got to have some kind of development. I mean, hopefully we get these coaches are more into that, you know, because over the last 3 years, I really haven't seen too much growth in our secondary. You know, think about the last couple of years, there's been a lot of MAs, a lot of missed assignments, mental errors. And I mean, that is all on coaching. And I don't know if it's what the way they coach now is because they don't have as much time. But like when we were in there, in our dungeon, you know, because our stadium, we didn't have all this pretty stuff they have now. We were in a dungeon. But
we ate rocks for lunch. Just like, you know.
But just like being with Perry Fuel and Randy Edsel, you know, these guys were like serious teachers of the game where it was technique. And at the same time, you were learning the system that we were playing in where now these guys don't have as much time, so they don't really get to teach the techniques that they want.
Yeah. I thought Prince was sticky in coverage. And I thought against Miami, he had a great special teams tackle. That was a pretty big hit. And I thought overall he had a chance. He could be a guy that comes back, though. I could see him if no one picks him up. He's a practice squad candidate. I thought he had a shot with special teams too. I mean, he can run. He's athletic.
4-3 guy.
And he's pretty sticky in coverage. Like in practice, anyway, he was. He looked like he, knew what he was doing. But again, it could be just a numbers game. You know, and that's what sometimes it comes down to. We're keeping 5 and you're number 6.
Yeah.
Or we're keeping 6 and you're number 7. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen for whatever reason. But he's got a career ahead of him, I think, DeAndre Prince. I do. I think he's got enough talent that someone will give him another shot. And it may be back here in the practice squad. And we all know what can happen when you're on that squad, right?
I wonder why last year he didn't beat out Ronald Darby because they allowed him to practice and or play outside where they didn't allow Jarian to.
Because Darby had a big contract and he's a 6th-round pick.
Oh, yeah.
That's
and
right.
that regime is terrible.
But as far as, the regime part of politics.
He only
That's
played
terrible because Darby, as we saw, got burned
constantly.
a ton.
He was one of the worst in the league last year. And DeAndre didn't even play in 8 games, so you didn't even really get to see much of him last year. But I did see a stat. I think he played a little over 100 snaps last year, and he allowed under a 40% completion percentage when he was out there. Granted, it's a very limited sample because it was only 100 snaps and missed pretty much didn't play in half the season. But still, there was guys that, like a Darby, where you were like, you didn't feel like Prince could have battled that a little bit.
Again, that whole thing was weird.
It was.
Nielsen was like, look at my corners. It runs all by the corners. And then your corners aren't doing anything. It was like awful, playing off and whatnot.
Those are like 75% man coverage that nobody can actually play.
Yeah, but with Prince, I think it's just more of a numbers game. They got to figure out Buster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would assume he starts on IR and misses 4 games.
So that could potentially be Caleb Bransaw on IR, Buster Brown on IR.
Yep.
Maybe Wyatt Milam on IR.
Maybe Cole, unless he's ready to come back.
And then Cole Van Lannon potentially. But
how many can you have on that? Do we know?
That's a good question.
I don't know if it's unlimited or if there's a.
What do we know about Tyson?
No, not
Tyson
practice squad. IR, and then you come back after 4 games.
4-game IR,
which is a great thing because back in the day, IR, you're done for the year. It's over. Like you're totally done. So I'm glad they have an opportunity to come back. You know, get some even more time to heal up and be ready to go and then come back after 4 games. You know,
IR
I don't know.
No fun.
No, you've been there. I've been there. It's awful.
Hasn't every football
one of the
player
loneliest feelings.
I feel like I've been there.
You feel like
when they put your locker in the middle of the locker room, you're like,
I feel like you're not part of it. You know,
your schedule's different. You know, all you're doing is rehab, and they're all meeting, they're all doing practice. You're not even. I don't know. It's a lonely place on IR.
What do we know about Tyson Campbell? Like, what is the updates injury-wise on him?
Oh, not another injury.
Not saying IR, but I'm just wondering, are you not going to have Tyson or Buster?
So I heard Loggeman say on Jaguars Today earlier, since he was down at the joint practice in Miami, he said Tyson Campbell in individual drills was working. Just when they went to team, he was off.
not. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, actually, I think that was Travis Hunter. So I don't remember now.
I feel like we haven't really heard anything about Tyson.
Was it both? Okay, so that's good news.
So no Tyson. No. Oh, he was. We'll see. But that would not be ideal if week 1 you have a banged up Tyson, a banged up Travis, no Buster Brown. That could be ugly.
And going against some big receivers.
So who would it be?
No Caleb Bransall.
You got Jari and who?
It would be Jari and Jordan.
And Jordan, yeah.
Braswell.
Jordan's a badass, though.
And Braswell would have to be the other guy. That's who it's been recently.
If Jordan's my corner,
right.
I'm good.
And then the Jaguars
You know what
are most likely releasing Jabbar Muhammad, according to reports.
Yeah.
He also could revert to practice squad.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I saw him make a few
Number
good plays
37.
out there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you noticed his number.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And again, with 16 players on practice squad, I mean, that's like awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a rule as far as how many can go on IR before the season.
I didn't know if there was a limit or not, but
there
it's
could
a great
be.
tool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about, 16 players on practice squad versus 10 makes things a lot easier too. Assuming that they can clear the waivers and actually make it to practice squad. You can't obviously guarantee that by any means. All right, Taylor Dahl has a tangent on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's a high-speed chase to the checkered flag.
Off the corner, to the line, the checkered flag is waving.
This Sunday at Darlington.
He's gonna do it!
NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on 1010XL.
Joint replacement surgery is always a tough decision, but relief from chronic pain may be just around the corner. Dr. George Barry here, and there's a lot to consider to make sure you get the proper diagnosis and best path back to the range of motion and mobility you had. Age, lifestyle, and overall health all play a part. Let the team at Barry Orthopedics give you a full analysis to help you make the best decision. Log on to BarryOrthopedics.com or call the office to make an appointment. With offices across Jacksonville and ready to help you feel good again, we'll get you back on the road to recovery at Barry Orthopedics.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too. From Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, rolling lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 26, 1990, Bo Jackson hit his 4th consecutive home run, tying an MLB record.
Deion Sanders going back to the wall, and it is gone. Bo Jackson over.
The best golfing weather is upon us, and Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to enjoy your next round of golf with us. Our welcoming atmosphere and love for golf keep our friends coming back. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the First Coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
The first half champion Jumbo Shrimp are home this week at newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Tonight it's 80s night and dollar hot dogs courtesy of Stallmeyer. Tomorrow the first 500 fans at the main gate get a t-shirt courtesy of And Better Health and Renewal by Anderson. Then it's Coors Light Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, plus Fireworks Saturday and Sunday. Baseball all week and weekend. JackShrimp.com for tickets.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Hacker here. You know, those of you that have listened to me for years realize that I used to do a lot of different weight loss things, a lot of different things that I tried that just never worked for one reason or the other. And then Awaken 180 Weight Loss came along, and I heard Mike Dempsey and Matt Hayes talking about it, and I thought, you know what the heck? What do I have to lose? I'm going to give it a try. I had low expectations, to be honest, based on previous history, but I learned very quickly that Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the best weight loss program I was ever on. I dropped 19 pounds my first 2 weeks on Awaken 180 Weight Loss, went on to lose over 100 pounds total. I'm keeping the weight off with the Awaken 180 Weight Loss Maintenance Program. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best weight loss program I have ever been on, and the results speak for themselves. If it's time for you to lose some weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. You can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, Aaron Beasley, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Thanks to Mike Dempsey for texting me that the Jaguars can have 2 players and all of their NFL teams as well on short-term injured reserve before the 53-man roster cut down. So the Jaguars have some decisions to make.
They do. We just talked about 4 guys that could go on that list, but if there's only 2, that man, you got a decision to make.
Yeah. At that point, you have to keep guys on your active roster.
Yeah. That may not be ready to go. Wow. I mean, look, you got to protect Ransaw and Milam.
Yes,
I would think.
And hopefully Milam can return and he doesn't need that designation.
Van Lanen.
But Van Lanen, it sounds like maybe he's able to return. That's why, a little sooner. That's why they would have been able to trade Fred Johnson to the Eagles.
Right.
But yeah, I've heard a lot of different names. Buster Brown certainly among them as far as players that could go on IR. So if you only have 2, you got to figure out what works best for you long term.
Buster must have had a really bad injury. We never found out what that was. It's been a month.
A while.
Yeah. All we heard was lower body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hockey.
That's all we heard. By the way, this has nothing to do with the Jaguars, but the Saints will have Spencer Rattler as their starting quarterback.
Wow.
That does not surprise anyone who watched that Jaguars-Saints preseason game. No. I do believe Spencer Rattler played a heck of a lot better than Tyler Shuck did, at least that night.
I would not be excited if I was a Saints fan for football season.
Yeah,
I know what they're going to be looking at next year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe I guess that's what you do is you watch this season and you're just like, all right, get one of these quarterbacks. Drew Aller, whoever it's going to end up being.
Yeah, well, Arch has said that
he's
staying, but we'll see. All right, time now for Tom's takeaways.
Now.
Okay, it's go time.
Tommy's takeaways. Jacked up by J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We are here for you. Veteran owned and operated.
My takeaways today have nothing to do with Las Vegas, but everything to do with Trey Hendrickson and Terry McLaurin for knowing their value and knowing the song The Gambler, knowing when to hold and when to fold and when to walk away and when to run. And they dug their heels in and got their money, well-deserved money, in my opinion, especially Trey Hendrickson. How dare you try to pay him $18 million this year? He gets a nice bump up to 30, and Terry McLaurin gets his big deal. He did a sit-in or a hold-in, and it worked. So good for those guys, knowing your value and not just succumbing to it. They got the money, make them pay you, and, of course, you'll deliver this football season. Brought to you by my friends at J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. That is today's takeaways.
Yeah, I believe Myles Garrett wanted to be traded, and then he got paid. I believe Trey Hendrickson wanted to be traded. He got paid.
That's right.
Terry McLaurin wanted to be traded. He got paid. And now Micah Parsons is sitting out there probably.
Come on, what about me, man?
Exactly.
He's probably taking a nap right now.
He's sleepy.
He's like, so they'll pay me. What are you going to do? Yeah, I'm sure Al Golden went to Mike Brown and was like, I need Trey Hendrickson on this defense. This is going to be even worse than last year if we don't have one of the best pass rushers in the league on this defensive line.
Yeah,
and
no question.
Mike was like, okay,
Yeah.
let's write him a check.
Yeah, and I know out in Dallas, I mean, I don't know. Jerry Jones is wild, but how you ever think about not having Micah Parsons on your team?
He just said he doesn't like to pay players before it's time to pay them, is what he said, which I think it's already time to pay a guy like Micah Parsons. But I think he's only 3 years in. And so Jerry Jones says he waits for the value, even though technically you'd be getting a better value for Micah Parsons because by this time next year, it's going to be even higher for those top edge rushers. But
he's had 4 years of 12-plus sacks.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
His value is up.
You know what I mean?
That's what his quote was. I don't sign him until I have to sign him.
Yeah, right.
Or it's time to sign him.
Well, that's a building block of any team, though. Your pass rush, your defensive end.
Yeah.
That's one of the guys I would say, a left tackle, a speed rusher, quarterback. I always take quarterback out because that's a
given.
That, yeah. But defensive end, left tackle, corner,
wide receiver one,
and a receiver one.
Yep.
That will make your team.
Yeah, you got to hit on those star players.
Yes.
I mean, you're more than not. Out of that 5, you got to try to get at least 3 to 4 to 5. You'd like to get 5 out of 5, but you have and then the rest are grunts.
Yeah,
right. I mean, they are. They're just the glue that the guards and the centers and the fullbacks and the just the rest of the group. But you got to hit on those, especially QB. We know that.
Yeah.
And left tackle.
Left tackle is
left tackle's got to. I was asked on Twitter, Tommy, if you could have one player you would trade for right now for the Jags, and I wrote Trent Williams.
Left tackle.
Like, you kidding me? I would take him in a heartbeat, and he would revamp the entire offensive line. He'd change everything about the offensive line, and he would be so good that you don't even go to.
And I'm a defensive back saying left tackle. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's when you know it's important.
Especially if you have a right-handed quarterback. I think it's a little different maybe with a left-handed quarterback like a Tua Tagovailoa, but we also know there's not a lot of those. Can you imagine the faction of the fan base that already is mad at Shad, that's for a whole nother reasons, right? Just because the team hasn't done well since he started, outside of 2 years, since he started being the owner. But if Shad was doing what Jerry was doing, and if we had a player in Jacksonville that had 13 sacks, 13 and a half sacks, 14 sacks, and then 12 sacks. So his worst year in the league so far was his 12-sack year, and you're refusing to pay him. This fan base would be livid.
Oh, yeah. As should they. I'm sure Dallas fans are livid, and they've been livid with Jerry Jones because he's made terrible decisions for a long time. And you go back to the Dak. I know a lot of Dallas fans appreciate Dak, and even though with some of the things that have happened in the postseason, they had to overpay him because he waited too long to finally pay him, and that's what's going to happen. Like, whatever, pay Micah Parsons, whatever you need to pay him because he's worth it. But the longer you wait, the higher that value is getting by the day.
I look back at, like, not to open old wounds, but like Ramsey, I'd have paid him. Like, he was the best corner in the league. I didn't like the way he brought the Brinks truck to training camp and all that crap and his attitude and all that. But I would have cut it early and just said, look, man, let's pay this kid, get him his money, and then maybe he'll keep it down a little bit. But sometimes you got to pay those guys. And by the way, if we had Micah Parsons on our team, we wouldn't have been 4-13 last year. That's for sure.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I don't think Shad would have any problem paying. And Shad's never been like that, right?
He's never had issues.
But he's chasing that relevance. He wants his team to be, the next not just Super Bowl champion, but talked about nationally. I mean, every owner does.
Consistent winner.
Yeah,
This team hasn't failed because Shad's lack of spending.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But this team has failed a lot while Shad's been the owner, so I understand the frustration there. All right, Bees, how did Friday Night Lights go for y'all?
It didn't go well.
Oh, no.
And we don't have to talk about it.
What's your post-game speech like when you lose?
My post-game speech is always, you learn a lesson, you know?
Yep.
You win or lose, you learn a lesson.
For sure.
You never lose.
Yep.
So football is one of them sports like, we have some players on our team that I feel like could play the next level.
Yep.
But not everybody can, but it's all about the team. And, and it's like, the best thing I think about is like the family that we created. These guys work hard. They train hard. They love the game. I've seen guys crying. It's only the first game. They're crying already, but it's like they love the game. And that's like with me, Donovan, Sofa, that we try to instill football is life because
it is.
The lessons you learn from football, the discipline, the focus, the hard work, the determination.
Everything.
Everything goes into life because later in life, you're going to have to face those things. And
no doubt.
You already did it. And a lot of businesses like to hire athletes because of that. So I try to teach them you're on the right path.
Yeah, business, life, sports, it's kind of the same stuff, you go through. But football is a great teacher because it's from a team concept.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you do rely on your teammates and and when you get those bonds like we have, they're stronger They're strong forever.
I knew this dude since like 92, you know what I mean? When I visited the Boston College.
That's right. What did I do? Put my head through a wall or something like that? Upside down keg stands or something. I scared these away.
With a cast on.
With a cast
Tom Coughlin scared me away. He told me, you missed class, you got to get up at 6 and run. I was like, Coach, I don't know.
West Virginia's like, don't worry about it.
West
please.
Virginia
Go to class
now,
if you want. It's cool.
Before all these rules, now they can do anything now.
That is true. What's on tap week 2 for Duval Country? Country. I always want to say Duval Country Club, Duval Charter.
Well, we have another tough game. We're going to play against a team that runs the old school offense, little wing tee, pounded at us. They might throw 4 times a game, but they're going to be physical, and I told my guys be ready.
All right,
Today's Toughness Tuesday.
I've got a defensive lineman for you.
Okay.
6'2" stack monster.
I need him.
6'2" stack monster. You know that?
Well, draw it up.
Anybody? All the right moves. Tom Cruise, 6'2"
I need you to draw it up for me.
6'2", yeah. You got 6, and they got 2.
That's what I'm doing.
And then the front line's just dive balling into their
9
legs.
in the box.
Yeah, there you go.
My corners, I'm sorry, you're on an island.
I thought you were. I've definitely seen that, but I thought you were offering someone
So that
you
is
knew.
6'2".
That's what I thought. I was like,
It's a real
6'2".
defense.
How much does he weigh?
It's a real defense.
How much does he weigh? How many times has he been to?
That's exactly what I was waiting for.
we were all
It's a
waiting
real
for.
defense. I'm telling you.
I was like, how much does he weigh?
Beast is about to get his wallet out, phone out. Like,
let's go.
All right, we'll send you off to practice, but thanks again for joining us. More to do on the other side, including Taylor's Tangent. It's 1010X on 92.5 FM.
1010XL, proud to live in Duval.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, visit AA Automotive on Richard Street. For oil changes to complex repairs, AA Automotive is a full-service repair shop for personal and commercial fleet vehicles. Trust AA to keep your ride running A-OK.
Summer's winding down, and we know you want to enjoy what's left of it. But before you celebrate this Labor Day weekend, plan ahead and know all your options. If you drink, don't get behind the wheel. Instead, designate a sober driver or catch a ride service. And if you are the designated sober driver, commit to staying sober. Celebrate responsibly and remember to drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
as soon as possible
at 641-1010.
Hey, Jackson's more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We are a community that takes care of one another. Hey, this is Tom McManus, former Jaguar, J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling, is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. We haul construction debris or property cleanouts for managed owners and realtors. We do it all. Call 50-612-56 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated, and we are J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Attention skilled electricians, are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Maxed out on credit cards? Struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Tired of high energy bills? Replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now. It's Renewal by Anderson's triple savings month. Get $300 off windows and $825 off patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires August 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Looking for summer fun the whole family can enjoy? Check out Wick, a candle bar. Make your own custom candles and body care products in store at Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. The 8th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide will make their first ever trip to Tallahassee, but the two teams will be matching up for the 5th time when the ball is kicked off Saturday at 3:30. The most recent matchup was the season opener back in 2017, where the top-ranked Crimson Tide beat the 3rd-ranked Seminoles 24-6. Alabama currently leads the series all-time with a 3-1-1 record. It's 90 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Everybody get up.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Well, happy for some NFL players and not so happy for others as they find out that their dream of playing in the NFL may come to an end, or they may just have to switch cities and switch teams. We will continue to update you on what we see as far as NFL reports are concerned. It looks like outside of a lot of the names that maybe some people don't know, there are a few names that were released today, or at least expected to be released, including, like you just mentioned off air, Taylor and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the wide receiver that has played for a lot of different teams, including the Chiefs.
Yeah, and Jacoby Myers is another name that people are familiar with. He had over 1,000 yards last year, and so there are names that most of the ones you see are kind of like, I have no idea who that person is. As I scroll through, I usually try and look for number one, like even if it's other teams, I'll just see if it's names that had been drafted in the last couple years, because those to me are the ones that you can usually still really get opportunity out of. Maybe we talk about those cut numbers. If it's new regimes, they're not going to keep players like that because they want their guys that maybe just weren't able to be developed properly. And that's what, when we look at even guys here, Deontay Prince is an example of that. He didn't play much last year, so there's not much developmental process that went into anybody last year, let's be honest. But especially a rookie or even one of the first, let's say 1, 2, 3 year guys. So those are the names that I always kind of like to look at, because I think there's still I think time and hope that those guys can come in and with the right organization can be developed and used properly.
Yeah. That's absolutely true. It's just the percentage of those players is small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, I mean, we look at Deontay Prince. We've seen him every day. We like him, right? Mm-hmm. But if you look around the league, they're like, yeah, he's okay. You know what I mean? But we've seen him, and then we might get a little, I don't want to, misled's not the word, but you get enamored with somebody like, wow, he can really play. Or, yeah, he had a good day of practice.
Yeah, we have a bias because
we have a little bias because you're watching.
We've seen his length. And,
right, exactly. And it's natural. I think every other teams are doing the same thing. But look, you don't make a team for a reason, you know? That doesn't mean you can't play. That doesn't mean you can't go somewhere and fit. The percentage of that happening just happens to be even smaller than making the NFL in general, I think. But, you know, look, you can't, again, I'll go back to Tommy Waddle. Try 3 tries. Jags were my 3rd try, and I happen to make it. You know what I mean? So my advice to any of these young guys, man, and by the way, today you can play in the UFL. The arena's strong. You can CFL maybe. I mean, CFL was around when I was, around too, but Arena wasn't really around. They were just getting going. There was no other league, so you do have opportunities to keep playing. And, eventually, it depends on your age when you say, okay, this is it. this is my final year of trying. I was 25, so I was like, it's either this or I got to go get a job.
Right.
I can't keep trying. I mean, keep trying out till I'm like 30 years old. It's not going to work. They probably wouldn't even have me. But, these guys that don't make it here, like I would think DeAndre Prince would get a pretty good look across the waiver wire. You know what I mean? And then, then it all comes down to, well, what position does that team have to make those picks? Do they even get there? And will we develop them?
Yeah.
I don't know. Think of players that came from other teams, that got cut during camp that came on and helped your team.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how many there are. You know what I mean? I don't think there'd be
Probably
a lot.
not a high number,
I don't think there'd be a number. There's a number.
Yeah.
It's not 0, but I know it's not 100 either.
And I do think, to your point, Tommy, there's the teams that you're also cutting guys. So you're already having to eliminate guys that you have had on your, like, practicing and in your, going through your preseason games. So you are already having to try and trim down your numbers. So taking other people's cuts also is a decision to make because you have your own guys that you've been working with through camp for the last month and a half.
Here's the reality. The guys that were left over, unless they're star players, like starters, they had an uphill battle to climb. Okay, because the new regime wants their guys, and rightfully so. I mean, that's how you're going to be judged. You're going to be judged on, if you draft guys and they don't make your team, you're like, well, this is terrible. Like, what did you do? Like, your free agent class, hey, I put out all this money for the free agent class, and none of them are making it, then it's a bad free agent class, So I think that's, a guy like DeAndre Prince, that was part of his uphill battle. It's a natural thing. It's not a negative. It's just, it is what it is. They're going to want their people. Unless you're like Andrew Wingard, he's a starter, so not worried about what that is. Hey, we kept him, we saw the value in him. He's going to be our starter. That's a good thing.
He's on regime 3.
Yeah.
He's survived the first 2
Dewey definitely earned that, especially this year.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing him play in Campanelli's your defense, because now he can literally go in and he shouldn't have to look over his shoulder at all.
Yeah.
He's the guy. That doesn't mean Ransaw's not going to play.
Right.
But if I'm Wingard, I'm the man. I'm going to be the safety, and it's my job for the year.
It's a good example of someone, like we've talked about all through training camp in the preseason, seizing the starting job opportunity.
Taking it.
Like actually looking around and saying there is direct competition for this position, and I'm not going to let those guys win it. I'm going to battle harder, and I also am going to rely on my football IQ and studying tendencies and things like that. And Dewey, also because he's been here since 2019, he knows this offense better than a lot of those other safeties that were just brought in, of course.
Yeah, and Dewey's story is interesting because he wasn't a starter here previously, and he was the former regime's pick. So, even before that, 2 ago.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about him, there's not many of those guys that weren't starters last year that are starting this year, and so that's interesting, and it's good for Dewey. I think he's somebody that early on in camp flashed, and throughout I felt like just got better and more day by day. Each of us were like, I think this might be Dewey's. I think this might be Dewey's job.
Well, I remember last year he got hurt in camp. And that was a big blow to his that knee injury.
That's when we've jokingly said, like, that's when we should have known the season wasn't going to go according to plan, he ended up with that, I think it was a knee injury, and had to go on IR, and then
they signed somebody, and he immediately went on injured reserve, I think, too. I'm trying to remember what it was. Or they signed someone who was already injured, but they were like, we'll get him back in week 4 or something, so it's good. And then that didn't factor into anything. Right. I can't remember who it was right now, but I was like, this is a disaster.
Yeah, you look at Wingard, you look at ETN on offense. They both, seized the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And I know I said that there's a little bias, but they all had the opportunity to win jobs. So my point is, if they're close, they're going to go with their guys. Now, if you just outperformed everybody, they're going to go with you. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, that's
they're not going to sit there and be like, no, I don't, even though he's the best player, I don't want him because he's not our guy. They're not doing that.
Yeah, that's why I wonder if Wyatt Milam hadn't had any sort of injury, could he have factored into one of these starting roles along the offensive line? Because, again, it is their guy. Now, granted, Robert Hainsey is their guy because they brought him in free agency. Patrick McCary is their guy. They brought him in free agency.
Yeah, but Liam's already benched Hainsey in Tampa, so I don't think he feels too bad about doing that.
Good point. Ezra Cleveland's another guy. All we heard was his job's a liability, and he's going to be out here. Guess what? No, he came to play, man. He had the best attitude. He was physical, great shape. Looks like he can go for days. You know what I mean? He's been that left guard day one and has not relinquished it at all. So, that's another guy where they're like, no, he's better. I'm not going to just throw Wyatt in there just because we drafted him. Ezra's clearly shown that he's the best left guard on our team right now, so we're going to roll with him. And we don't know what happens down the road, but for now, he's our guy.
Absolutely.
And earned it.
And I promise, Taylor Doll's Tangent is on the other side. You're listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
Fall football keeps college campuses buzzing.
I'm RJ Saunders, and I'll help you slide into a college football Saturday with pregame news and notes.
On the Bueller Air and Plumbing College Kickoff.
Served up by Sonny's Barbecue.
Friday night at 6 on 1010 XL.
Big number one Duval Ford is trusted by Duval families, Duval businesses, and law enforcement across Florida. We're Jacksonville's largest Ford dealer by new Ford sales with the biggest service facility to keep everything in your driveway and in your fleet on the road. Shop Big number one Duval Ford on Cassett Avenue for our low prices and nationally recognized service-first experience. Big number one Duval Ford, proudly serving North Florida since 1916.
Welcome to the Bundle event. Entering now our undisputed tag team champions, the mid-size SUV and the mid-century modern. Together with a State Farm agent, this auto and home duo are a powerful force of savings, service, and customizable coverage. Now, let's get ready to bundle.
Call State Farm agent Gene Coleman in Jacksonville at 904-764-4139.
Availability and amount of discounts and savings vary by state.
After the lights go down on Friday night, 1010XL flips the switch. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, Friday Night Lights. With Hacker and Dylan Denmark. Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Big Chief Tire makes auto care more affordable with 6-month financing through the CFNA credit card. Frank Frangie here. Plus, get $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. Whether you need new tires, brake service, or general repairs, their expert technicians have you covered. With no interest for 6 months, now's the perfect time to take care of your vehicle. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to apply today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to ITPPartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. And I've been promising Taylor's Tangent for quite some time. So right now, let's get into some college football. Taylor, take it away.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
The people want their Chick-fil-A.
They do. They want lunch. Continuing on with some of just the madness and craziness of what college football is becoming. So Hayes Fawcett, obviously, he's the guy when you want to know when it comes to the recruiting world. He's a national recruiter for On3 Sports and Rivals. But he posted
He has a lot of crystal balls.
Yes, he does. A lot of crystal ball predictions. So the number one running back in the 2027 class, his name, he's from, right now is currently committed to Penn State. His name's Keemon, I think is how you say it, Keemon Spell. So he's right now has already made his commitment to Penn State, but now has recently said that he has 6 schools that have the best shot at flipping him. And he told this to Rivals. He named the 6 schools, and he said that this year he's going to make game day visits to each of the 6, starting this weekend with Ohio State. The 6 schools that can possibly flip Keemon Spell: Ohio State, Tennessee, USC, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Michigan. But when I saw this, I was like, what is happening? We're getting to the, like, how do you feel being the Penn State coaching staff and players when this guy's like, yeah, I'm committed. We already know people decommit. It happens 500 times now. That's just what it is. But just going out and straight up saying, I'm going to be visiting all these schools this year, and these are the 6 that I might possibly leave you for. But thanks for offering me.
You say 2027?
Like mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's a sophomore.
Yes.
In high school.
Yes.
That's crazy. I mean, it's just like, and you said he's the number. Oh, for that class,
the 2027.
Gotcha.
Yeah, number 1 running back in that class.
I'm glad you said it like that because as far as it does feel like a relationship when someone is committed to a school. Like, just don't commit yet if you are thinking about going
6 other
elsewhere.
schools. Yeah. It's like you have a girlfriend, but you're like, I'm thinking about leaving you for these 6 girls. I'm just going to go on a date with each of these and let me see how it goes.
All right, so does this kid, like, you commit verbal, right?
Yeah.
You're not signing
anything. It's not National Signing Day, so he hasn't officially put the pen to paper. I'm sure there's NIL deals being talked about. And I'm sure that's part of these other things, as I'm sure he's already heard some things. I don't know if legally, because I don't know all the legalities, so I don't know if legally they can say we're giving you X amount, but there's definitely people talking to him saying like,
well, now there's pay for play, so schools can say, we have allotted this much money for running backs, we've allotted this much money for wide receivers, things like that.
And then he's looking at, okay, here's 12 other players on the team, and this is how much they're making through other NIL deals. So here's your potential. And he's probably hearing that from each of these other 6 schools too. And so Penn State's just like, hold on.
And then probably a booster like, hey, go take care of this kid, for the next couple of years, make sure he's all right.
I mean, it's always crazy to me to think that it starts that young. You would think junior year is when schools start to watch film on these guys and pay attention and start to recruit them. But no, it starts even earlier than that, which is wild.
It is.
Like Carson Beck, the starting quarterback for Miami, obviously by way of Georgia, spent 4 years at Georgia.
Right.
He, as a freshman in high school, was committed to Florida and was going to play both baseball and football. And then he was committed to Alabama, I want to say, or Alabama was trying to get him away to flip from Florida, or Florida's trying to flip him from Alabama. Either way, but he was going to play both sports at that point in time because as a freshman, like, he threw hard enough to be recruited as a pitcher, and then eventually, obviously, pushed more towards football. And now we'll see.
Yeah,
that's just crazy. I mean, to put your future, great for the kid.
Yeah,
I mean, are you kidding me? I'd love to be a sophomore rolling in cash. It'd be awesome. In high school.
There's a lot of projections in it, obviously, because you don't know. Like, there's the kids are growing still. And so I've done a lot of, like, in my podcast that I do, I talk to a lot of high school coaches, and they talk a lot. They share the recruiting process of a lot of these guys who are now in the NFL. And a lot of them say, their freshman year, these guys, like this so-and-so school, and these scouts were coming here, and they're at that time played wide receiver, but they were expecting them to be this weight by the time they were in college. So we were already talking about possibly changing them to linebackers. And so there's so much projection that's happening in that world too of what exactly is going on, and the double sport stuff, because there's a lot of athletes that will play basketball and football or baseball and football. And then you're sitting there being like, which one do they end up going with? Someone like Javon Dexter from Florida played basketball until his junior year. And then the coach was like, you're a big dude. You should come play football. And then he's in the NFL. And so it's wild to go to think about a 14-year-old and being like, hey, do you want to come play for us in 4 years?
Only means so. I mean, and the school.
He's just saying, I'm a sophomore and I'll come to you.
Right?
It will be so November 1st, Penn State and Ohio State play. So that one could be a battle of who gets Keemon's spell.
2027, let's go. That's our guy. No, it's ours. Let's fight.
Yeah, there probably might be a fight about someone like that. All right, let's give some lunch away.
Yes, free lunch to Chick-fil-A. Give us a call at 641-1010. Let's say caller number 2, you get free lunch to Chick-fil-A.
I just saw online that the Browns released veteran kicker Dustin Hopkins. And for people around here, he was the kicker at Florida State. That was so good. Many years ago, he's probably been in the league now for 10 or 11 years. But it just, when you take the business side out and you look at just the human side, he and his wife have 2 little boys. The older one has some, I would say, I think he's classified as like nonverbal autistic. And so he has some challenges, right? And so he has this great school in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where they moved from Austin, Texas a few years ago. I know all this because I got to meet the family several years ago. And so they had this great life in Nashville. They moved from Austin, Texas to Nashville. And they just loved the school for the older son. And then he got signed by the Browns. And so they ended up deciding this year, they've lived away from Dustin for a while now while he's been in Cleveland. But they decided this year, let's go ahead and buy a house in Cleveland, move the family to Cleveland, find a new school for their son. And then literally like less than a month later, now the Browns are moving on from him. And so again, if you look at it from that, just the personal side of things, that's so incredibly hard. Like if you were thinking about waiving me, why didn't you tell me 3 weeks ago? And I wouldn't bought a house in Cleveland or renting a house, whatever it ends up being, but moved the whole family
At
there.
least have that conversation because, hey, by the way, there was probably conversations happening in the locker room of me and my wife are looking to buy a house here, and the coaches should have been like, just to let you know.
Right.
Also, there's your sign to never move to Cleveland.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I don't know how anybody does the whole, I'm going to live here and the family's going to live back.
Yeah,
I get it
so
because they've got, you got your roots and all that, but I wouldn't be able to survive without my family. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to do that,
And that's why I was happy for them that they got to all be together because I can only imagine how difficult it is for 2 boys to be without their dad.
Right.
That, months on months. I mean, they get to see each other a little bit. Like they would go up for a game, but again, have to go back for school purposes and things like that.
But listen, they're just human beings that having to play in the NFL. They got to deal with the same stuff that we all got to deal with sometimes.
Sure.
I think we forget about that because they play football or they play
and
whatever
because they
sport.
make a lot of money.
Yeah, the money. Yeah, don't worry about it. They'll just they'll get a moving company.
Yeah,
they can afford it. But a lot goes into it. And that's why I didn't get into coaching. I was not going to ask my young wife and our young daughter to move all over the place, follow me, on some coaching journey that was going to take us to like Eastern Arkansas or something. Not that that's bad.
No, yeah.
Or, Washington State.
10 to 15 years before you find a place you can be in. I mean, even look at Liam Coen's path. Well, he is a head coach in the NFL.
Right.
But prior to this, his family moved like every 2 years for quite some time.
That was kind of on him, but he was deciding those things. But
that was Los Angeles when he get fired.
That one time. I had a conversation with Coach Campo about that, about how difficult it was on his family through his coaching career. And then even during the time he was his tenure at Dallas every single year plays on Thanksgiving. So you don't think about it in that sense, but he was like, I miss so many Thanksgivings with my family because playing for that team, every single year you're playing on Thanksgiving. And so there's a lot of sacrifices that the players and coaches make and when it comes to being around the family. So to your point, Tom, I can't imagine either living across the country from your family to where at least like you have to not only work around your football schedule, but then you're having to travel or they're having to travel to even see you.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of work goes into it. I mean, we all look at the Super Bowl like, that'd be so great, being a Super Bowl coach and all that stuff. You don't realize how much goes into it. Yeah. Jared Ingram was telling me that Coughlin used to make them write reports on every single player. They all would have, like in the college football, you got these 3 conferences. I want to report on every single player on every single team. And I'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I'm sorry, Coach. I love you, but I am not doing that. I would never have the patience for any of that stuff. I go cuckoo trying to put that stuff together, but it is a grind, but it comes with the territory. Mm-hmm. And look, they're on it's like these players, these coaches are always on the hot seat. I mean, more have stability, obviously, and what
but
they've
having
done.
a signed contract in the NFL doesn't usually
Not for
guarantee you
assistants,
anything.
especially.
And even head coaches, the owners will fire them if they feel like it. But in college, I think it does matter a little bit more because of those buyouts. And so a school owes the coach even more if they fire them.
Well, the coaches get guaranteed money. I mean, Doug's sitting on $10 million this year. He's getting paid $10 million bucks. Yeah, he's going to get nice little
Doug.
check. Yeah, they're chilling. Playing golf or whatever the heck he's doing.
But, I'm sure playing a lot of golf.
So that's what my point is. The assistant coaches don't have that security.
Right, that's true. I do wonder, or I did think about Doug Peterson today, like sitting back, if he's even looking at this news that's happening with the Jaguars roster, or at least reportedly happening with the Jaguars roster. And I wonder if he's thinking wanting to tell people see, I told you, the roster wasn't built. This was not the most talented roster last year. We fought over different players that should be drafted and things like that. Now, granted, not all of the culpability goes on Trent Baalke. Some of the culpability definitely goes on Doug Peterson. A lot of us think he should have moved on from Press Taylor, and he never did, whether that was Philly, whether that was Jacksonville. But I do feel like if I'm him, I'm just sitting back with my feet propped up, whether it's on a boat or on the golf course, and sitting there going, I tried to tell y'all.
Yeah.
It's not all on me.
The one thing, if at the end of this year we see the Trevor that a lot of people think that Trevor can be, that is going to be the biggest shot on Doug, is you did have Trevor Lawrence and you had this guy who under your tenure regressed, and in 1 year under Liam Coen got to where you think he's going to be. That's going to be the one thing with Doug, because he was brought here being talked about like he's the quarterback guy. This is what he was supposed to do, and he didn't.
Although the negative people, Taylor, will still look at it and go, well, yeah, Doug with 1 year with Trevor did great, and then he regressed. So they're going to say, well, let me see the bigger sample size and see what happens
more years.
After the first
year and a half. I mean, that first half of 23 wasn't bad.
No,
it wasn't as great as everyone thinks it did, but it wasn't a bad by the QB.
Yeah.
I wonder what, other than the injuries, so what happened? Did Doug all of a sudden forget how to coach quarterback? You know what I mean? Like you go.
Well, they definitely don't like each other anymore. At least it seems from the outside.
Yeah, I think the ending was probably bad for them all.
Yeah,
I don't.
It feels like there was a disconnect.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can have a disconnect between the coach, who some people thought was the play caller, but the coach, at least, and the offensive coordinator were, play calling. Speaking of quarterbacks, we haven't talked about this on air. We did off air. The Raiders acquired Kenny Pickett from the Browns in a trade yesterday. So now the Browns just have the 3 quarterbacks that we've discussed ad nauseum, and then, of course, Deshaun Watson elsewhere. But the Browns did get a 2026 5th-round pick for Pickett.
So they're not out for Shedeur Sanders. Isn't that interesting? Wow. The whole thing changes in one move.
Good for them, I guess, in a sense of that you're getting a 6th-round pick for somebody who you have so many quarterbacks on this roster. Yeah. Clearly, it wasn't going to be, even though there were some rumors that Kenny Pickett was beating out the 2 rookies for a little bit. I feel like through the preseason that kind of changed a little bit, and you started hearing more about the rookies. And so you draft 2 rookies and you want your future to at least feel like it has some sort of path. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like that makes the most sense for them. You have your veteran guy that can hopefully, and Flacco, obviously, who can try and figure some stuff out, get you through if he can get you through the season, that'll be fantastic, and let these 2 guys learn under Flacco, because he's definitely one of those guys to be able to do that and see what it looks like at the end. But I don't know if anybody was like, Kenny Pickett's going to save the day in Cleveland. Like, I don't know if that's what it was.
Yeah, he's been shopped around a little bit, Kenny Pickett. It's like Pittsburgh, Philly.
Yeah, he's been sent all over the place.
Then Cleveland, and then, now out to the Raiders.
There are only 2 players in the last 30 seasons to be traded 3+ times within their first 4 NFL seasons. It was Sam Howell and then Kenny Pickett. And
that's rough.
You can't have small hands and play quarterback. That's the problem.
that was
you can't grip the ball. You're not going to be able to whip it around.
If it's up to me, I would I would love to see, as a fan, start Joe Flacco game 1, then start Dylan Gabriel game 2, then start Shedeur Sanders to game 3. who played the best? They get to start game 4, and then that person gets the season for a little while. Like
look at their schedule. I don't know if that's a fairness.
And it's certainly the people that are defending Shedeur, I can understand that. They want it to
What's
be...
the defend? I don't even understand.
So
What's the defend?
Flacco would get the Bengals. Whoever's 2 would get the Ravens and then the Packers. So it'd be pretty even when it came to competition of you all get pretty tough teams. Their schedule's hard. Bengals, Ravens, Packers, Lions, Vikings, Steelers.
Here's the
thing. The start to their year.
Here's the thing. None of us, and I don't mean us, but people in general, most of us, weren't at any of their practices.
Right.
So if Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders lit it up in practice, like you had to play them, they would be playing. They would have put them out there with the higher teams. They wouldn't have said, no, we're going to leave them to the third or fourth quarter, or we're going to run them with the third team. They would have said, oh, you know what? This kid, whoever it is, it could be Shedeur, it could be the other kid. They've shown enough to where, you know what? They deserve a shot with the 2s. Then if they do, then they deserve a shot with the 1s. That didn't happen. I mean, it's not like they're everyone's against Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. It's just not. It's just so crazy how that became kind of a thing. Like, oh, it's not fair. Well, what's not fair? He's a 5th-round pick. He's 4th on the depth chart. He doesn't deserve second team or first team reps just because. Now, if he shows in practice, that you're like, man, this kid's whipping it all around. He's beating us all over the place. Yeah. I got to put him with the 1s. I got to see him with the 1s. But they never came to that.
That's why I say rotate them. Yeah. Throw them out.
Let's see what you got.
That's tough to do.
Each quarter get a different.
I said per game, not each quarter.
I will real quick. Duval Doom. He said the only thing Doug Peterson told us was we weren't smart enough to understand one of his play calls, so he wasn't going to explain it.
And maybe in the end, it wasn't his play call, so he didn't understand.
He didn't get it.
Yeah. All right, we've got today's Terminix Pest of the Day on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
The doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists have resolved my hip and foot issues, and I'm back to training for the 2028 Olympics in LA. This is Garrett Scantley, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is David Garrard. Following my knee surgeries and recovery, I'm continuing to feel great and would recommend Southeast Orthopedic to anyone who's experiencing orthopedic pain.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. At South State, they believe strong relationships build strong businesses. That's why they take the time to understand your goals, challenges, and vision so they can provide solutions tailored to your needs, like they've done for me for years. South State has always been there for our business and our charity. With a team you can trust and a commitment to personalized service, South State Bank is here to be more than your bank. They're your partner in business. Visit southstatebank.com. South State Bank, member FDIC.
Jacksonville is my hometown, and nobody knows roofing like me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We handle everything from repairs to full roof replacements, start to finish. We give honest quotes, use quality materials, and clean up like we were never there. We all look at Google reviews, so go ahead and check out ours. We're proud of all our 5-star ratings. I would say we treat you like family, but some people don't like theirs. Go to brandonroofing.com today to schedule your free roof quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
Frank Frangie here for Coen & Sons Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports memories. Remember Morton Anderson missing a chip shot field goal that launched the Jags into the playoffs in 1996? You know who doesn't miss? Coen & Sons Fencing. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coen & Sons today at 904-356-4821. That's 904-356-4821. Or visit CoilJacks.com. That's C-O-I-L-E, Jacks.com. Coen & Sons, keeping your business and home safe for nearly a century.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
I'm Frank Frangie, and you've heard me tell you how much success my daughter Amber is having with the Awaken 180 weight loss program. But Amber, maybe it's time you should tell them.
I think they'd rather hear from you, Dad. You're the radio guy.
Yeah, but in this case, you're the one doing all the work.
But that's the thing, Dad. It doesn't feel like work. The food is great. I never feel hungry. My coach, Mary, is so good, so encouraging. If you follow the plan, Awaken 180 really works.
Well, everyone I know that's tried it has said the same thing. The result is people not only look better, but they feel better. I've kind of known you your whole life, and I can tell you feel great.
I feel better than I have in years. I love that part. I feel so good. I have Awaken 180 to thank for that.
So you heard it from my kid, and you can feel great too. Just call 1-844-346-1800. That's 1-844-346-1800, or visit awaken180weightloss.com and start your transformation today.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner. With honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
1010XL, presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch.
Baby, you a song. You make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise.
Time now for today's Terminix Pest of the Day is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix, TERMINIX.com. That's how you find them online, Terminix.com. They come and spray our front yard, our backyard. They bring us equipment so we can be mosquito free, which is absolutely amazing, especially this time of year. They can do that for you and or your business. Take care of all the pest issues that you may have, just like they do at Everbank Stadium, VyStar Ballpark, VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. Well, today's is not a fun and light-hearted one. It is a serious one. Former USF coach Jim Leavitt was fired from USF way back in 2010 after an investigation concluded he grabbed a player by the neck and hit him. Well, then he was arrested yesterday. You can laugh at that part. I'll pause before I continue. Get your laughter out. Then yesterday, he was arrested in Pinellas County for simple battery, domestic battery, and grand theft. He's accused of battering his ex-girlfriend, stealing a Louis Vuitton purse, wallet, and clutch valued between $5,000 and $10,000. And here's the bigger problem if you're USF. He was scheduled to be inducted into the USF Hall of Fame this fall. I suppose it is a little funny that he was trying to steal his girlfriend's purse, clutch, and wallet because those things are expensive.
Yeah.
But moreover,
was this the guy at Aldine's?
So that guy was trying to offer us a $3,000 Chanel purse, not
straight
steal it.
So what's this coach's name?
Jim Leavitt.
Jim Leavitt, and he's not related.
How old is he?
I would guess he's in his late 50s.
Okay. I thought he was older than that.
Well,
wow.
straight
Maybe
to
he wanted
jail.
the purse back. Break it up with her. He's like, give me the purse back. She said, no.
68.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that's bad. Any domestic violence or abuse is
well,
bad.
I hope
bad,
USF
bad.
takes that, also does not
strike
continue
that
to
out.
honor him.
No.
That's where obviously a lot of outrage happened once that story was broken earlier today, as people were saying, do not put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Which this is a totally different thing, but I know people haven't wanted Urban Meyer to be inducted in the Ring of Honor for Florida. And then that happened, I think, like 2 years ago now. But not because of that kind of stuff, but more because he was such a bad NFL head coach that it tarnished the reputation.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You mean not all those criminals that he had playing for him? That wasn't part of the problem? Yeah. Like Aaron Hernandez shooting at people? Hey, don't worry about it, Aaron. Just score touchdowns on Saturday, buddy. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be just fine. Some Jaguars news. Again, no surprise on this one. The Jaguars are waiving rookie quarterback Seth Hennigan. So, of course, we figured Trevor Lawrence, Nick Mullins would be, QB1 and QB2.
Do they go get Kyle Trask?
Yeah, that's interesting.
A lot of people obviously have put that out because, Kyle Trask was excellent at the University of Florida.
He has an arm closer, like more relatable to what Trevor can do compared to Nick Mullins.
And, of course, playing in Tampa for years, he knows Liam Cohen's offense. And so I would not be surprised, but I don't think that I don't know that he'd automatically leapfrog Nick Mullins necessarily. But if you're looking to not have Seth Hennigan on the practice squad, could you get Kyle Trask and put him on the practice squad? I don't know that part.
Well, Kyle should know the system, right? Or at least have a good handle of it.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Trask has been the backup now for quite some time. He backed up Tom Brady in the Super Bowl year.
Yeah.
I always liked him coming out of college.
Yeah. So he has that familiar, obviously with Liam Hainsey. He's probably worked a ton with him. So
second team.
Yeah.
Right. They
work together.
They felt each other just fine, I'm sure.
I have a Kyle Trask rookie card
Oh, do you?
That, yeah, our friends at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles gave me. So I've just been holding on to
Trask.
it, waiting for the day. I know I saw some people like, free Kyle Trask. I'm like, I don't know that we need to go that far necessarily.
Speaking of Urban Meyer, did you see that Fox's Big Noon kickoff is going to be Urban Meyer and Dave Portnoy?
I did see that.
I did.
Yeah.
That
there were
feels like it's
rumors-
going to be so awkward.
Yeah, there were rumors that Portnoy wasn't going to be allowed into the stadium at
I
Ohio
saw
State,
that,
but that's actually not
Oh, it's fake
accurate.
news.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was fake. That part of it was fake news. By the way, Deshaun Watson was placed on the PUP, the physically unable to perform list to start the season. Again, no surprise because he had a setback when it came to his Achilles.
Yeah. Yeah. Did I ever tell? I don't know if I ever told you guys this. When I was at Boston College, like when Urban just got hired. So what was that? 5 years ago? 2020?
Urban was 2021.
2021. And the strength coach went from Ohio State to Boston College. I can't remember his name, but he was under Urban. And Urban wanted him to come to Jacksonville. And he's like, there was no way I was going with that.
Is that the one that there was pushback? because
Doyle?
he,
No, it wasn't Chris Doyle.
Okay.
No, it wasn't Chris Doyle. It was a totally different guy. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, that guy's a narcissist. Like, he's just like didn't like him at all. I'm like, well, I'm glad you're a PC. That's good for you. It's amazing that Urban survived everything to me.
People turn their heads a
When you
lot
win,
of the things
they don't
did.
care.
Yeah.
They don't care. I mean, they care, but they don't.
Yeah.
Majority of fans don't care.
How close do players get to their strength and conditioning coach in college versus the NFL?
I don't know. I wasn't that close. I mean, I was close to both of them, I guess.
Okay.
Not like friends, but I guess friends. Friendly, anyway.
I wasn't close. Yes, I was. I wasn't
Well,
friends.
I don't know, like we
we
didn't go
only
out
did
or
dinner once a
anything.
week.
You know,
Well, yeah,
we
not
didn't
close,
hang.
not close, like outside of the building, but more like how important that nutrition and then that obviously like that strength training is.
Well, first of all, back then there was no nutrition. I mean, it wasn't like today. You know, you get a shake. You're like college,
Right.
they feed you shakes. There was none of that stuff. You ate on your own. They gave you the training table. You know, they cafeteria with the Jags. You could eat clean if you wanted to, but it wasn't like they had some new. I mean, we did have a nutritionist. All I remember her saying was you could eat cereal at night, and it could be sugar flavored cereal, and it's the best carbohydrate you can have before you go to bed. So I was like, all right, game on. I'm gonna eat cereal every night before I go to bed. It's fantastic. But no, there was, and it wasn't like the conditioning and training wasn't as scientific as it is today.
Sure,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It was, you did your normal, you know, you did the squat, you did the clean, you did the bench press, you know. and that
I
was
feel like
pretty
some
much-
people are afraid of their strength and conditioning coach. Like some of them are just the screamers. But yeah, we didn't have one in high school.
The only coach I didn't like was the pushback coach. You know, pushing off the sideline. I didn't like anybody touching me like that. So that's the only coach I didn't really like.
Pushback coach.
You know, the guy who says get back. That yeller, and normally it can be the strength coach. I think on game day for a lot of schools.
Yeah.
They're the pushback. You're the get back guy.
Yeah,
you know, whatever.
get back.
Sean McVay has his own.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of
guy.
coaches
Yeah.
do because they don't, you know, they're not supposed to go out on the field. I would not like that. Some guy pulling me back. I'd be like, so you keep pulling me back, you're going to catch an elbow. I'm just saying right
He's like,
now.
you hired me.
Yeah, I'm
Just don't
doing
listen to
my
everybody else.
job,
Listen
okay?
to me.
Did you ever think about becoming a personal trainer once you were done playing football?
I've actually trained a couple kids,
Okay.
you know, but no, not really. No.
Taylor, how about you?
Definitely not. I would not know where to start with that.
Yeah, to me, it's look, you just get everything stronger and you'll be a better athlete. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Calf, traps, whatever,
Agility
forearms.
and then strength and stuff
That's
like
right.
that. Yeah.
That's right. It's not
But that's
rocket
what like
science.
how to do it. That's why I get intimidated because everyone's like, you have to lift right. Like you don't want to mess your back up or you don't want to do this and blah blah blah. So if you don't know, it's intimidating walking into a gym if you're not familiar with that.
Yeah.
And I think more so that stuff is what I would need help with more than like do this to work out this. You know, like I know
got
this.
it. Let's do a helmets and heels workout course to get Taylor into working out. That'll be our goal. That you'll be like, you know what? I actually like this stuff.
Yeah, but
that could be interesting.
I will say this though: if I looked like Taylor in clothes and in a bathing suit,
Might not work either.
I might not work either. I have to work a lot harder than that. All right, we've got one segment to go. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
1010XL is your home for play-by-play of Bishop Kenny football.
The Crusaders season kicks off at home against University Christian. Friday night at 7 on 92.5 FM.
Hey, it's Joe C. When was the last time you flushed out your water heater? Flushing a water heater each year improves its efficiency and extends its lifespan. So call Roland Reese Plumbing for a routine water heater flush out and any other plumbing needs. 260-7059. Roland Reese Plumbing.
Hey guys, Taylor Doll here of Helmets and Heels. It's a sauce kind of football season with Chick-fil-A chicken strips. Each crispy, juicy bite only gets better when you choose your favorite sauces to dip into and create your own flavor combinations. Will it be sriracha and ranch, honey and buffalo, barbecue and Chick-fil-A sauce with 21 different sauce pairings possible? It's easy to go on a flavor adventure. Order in a 4-count, 10-count, or in a catering tray. Get an order started today in the Chick-fil-A app and dip on into football season.
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there as number 2 overall draft pick Travis Hunter, quarterback Trevor Lawrence, and new head coach Liam Coen take the field for the first time during the 2025 NFL regular season. Secure your seats for when the Jaguars take on the Panthers September 7th by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
Fall is here. The air is crisp. Football is on, and the perfect backyard atmosphere starts with a high-quality fireplace from CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Hey, it's Joe C. Imagine nights by the fire, cheering on your team, surrounded by friends and family. CSS can transform your outdoor space into the ultimate game day destination. Stylish, warm, and built for memories. With several wood, gas, and electric options, let CSS make your backyard the best seat in the house. Visit CSSFireplaces.com.
For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has proudly served Jacksonville from the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard. From archery to hunting and fishing, they've got the gear, service, and know-how to get you outdoor ready. Stop by their full-service archery pro shop and check out their wide selection of firearms. And while you're there, sign up for their weekly concealed weapon classes. You can find it all at greenacresporting.com.
Prosser here again for Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts you can trust. You might think you have a struggle ahead, but Chad and Sandy always have a solution, and ultimately it ends in a success story. Jacksonville area homes are selling, but getting the right price requires aggressive marketing and proven systems. Hiring the experts who know how to create demand is crucial. You need Chad and Sandy Newman. Need to sell now? Chad and Sandy have instant offers, fast, easy, stress-free. But, man, they deliver with the promises. The local real estate experts you can trust. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. Oh, and the proof is out there. Tom and Nicole in Mandarin. I got a new job in Louisiana. We found a new home. Now we'd have to sell fast to avoid paying 2 mortgages. Chad and Sandy did it. Use them today. ChadAndSandy.com. That's ChadAndSandy.com.
David here with Royal Pest Services. It's back. Our summer Centricon Termite Special. New installs begin as low as $249. And if you have existing Centricon, but your renewal is through the roof, we can transfer you to Royal at no cost. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Taylor, I'm going to cool down with Tom. I'm sure you guys saw this story over the weekend. K-State quarterback Avery Johnson's dad and brother got into a massive fight after that Kansas State-Iowa State game.
Oh, I did not see this.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, in the parking
Ireland.
lot. In the water.
They were on the streets of Dublin, just brawling it out, father and son. Yeah, and I thought this part at least was funny.
Do we know what happened?
They said that they really just apologized. They didn't explain what happened, but it was just an altercation.
Well, the kid was a quarterback, right? The brother.
Yes,
or
the brother and
so the one
son.
brother probably said he did something bad. And the father's like, you watch your mouth.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, these days it could be anything, but the fact is they did issue an apology yesterday, and then what I found funny is Aaron Murray, the former Georgia quarterback, quote tweeted it and said, "Still don't know how my dad and brother never got in a fight in my 4 years."
Yeah, right. That is too funny.
That is.
It's an emotional game.
Did someone get it on video?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. All you have to do in any platform you're on, just type
how
in
that didn't pop up
Avery
on my
Johnson,
stuff.
brother or father or whatever.
They're on the
you'll see
concrete
it.
and there's puddles on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're trying to beat up your dad. It's really bizarre.
Yeah. I can confirm that I have never done anything remotely
I've wrestled
like
my
that.
father.
Is Dad winning though?
Oh yeah,
Or, yeah.
big time.
Yeah, I think the dad was on top of him. But y'all were wrestling like
Fun,
for
but we
sport.
wanted to win. I've wrestled him in college. He was he was probably 70, and I was 20, and he gave me a run for my money. He was I finally had to flip him over, and he started laughing once I got him on his back. And his laugh was so, deep and heavy, he couldn't. I just started laughing, but it was great. I was just messing around. It wasn't aggressive behavior. Oh, well, it was kind of aggressive behavior. It just depends how you look at it, but all in good fun.
But you didn't punch each other.
No,
I think wrestling's totally different.
Oh, yeah.
This was obviously like
they're
causing,
going at it.
Yeah, causing
out of
quite
anger.
the scene and certainly not ideal. All right, so I read this article in The Athletic earlier today, and Mike Jones caught up with, I was waiting for a Mike Jones who? Thank you. Mike Jones caught up with 3 of the 5 rookie coaches and Liam Coen, head coaches in the NFL. Liam Coen, Kellen Moore, and Brian Schottenheimer. The other 2, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, declined to do the interview, which I don't blame them necessarily. You're very busy these days. But I found this answer interesting from Liam Coen when he was asked about the silliest thing that has come across his desk that he had no idea that fell under coaching responsibilities. And so he said, basically, I'm not going to read the whole answer because it's long, but he said, like, they're in a great situation because they have Tony Baselli as the executive vice president of football operations. And so he's able to take a lot of stuff off of Liam Cohen's plate, which is great. But then Liam Coen went on to say that when a player is late, those are the frustrating things. Ultimately, the communication. Early on, we had some communication issues with players and coaches not communicating, like, I'm going to miss this day, or coach, I'm going to be late this day. That was unacceptable early on in terms of the lack of communication, and we got some of that stuff cleaned up. That was probably the most, I guess you would call it, frustrating or time-consuming thing that maybe doesn't always have to do with what's on the grass. I guess I shouldn't be shocked that players are going to miss a day or be late by any means, but not communicating with the coaching staff when it's a brand new coaching staff, that's the part that I guess surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know who. It doesn't obviously list who, and I wonder if it's...
Is it Eric Armstead?
That's what I'm like. Is it players from that were here last year and things were so just whatever last year?
Yeah.
And so maybe that they thought that's how things went, or at least went here in Jacksonville. And so they figured that would continue. That is, know where you work. It's a job. And we talk about it, like we enjoy it. We love the sport and we love it. But they're just as the business owners and the owners of the teams and the players, they always say it's a business at the end of the day. So I don't know how you would operate as if you were an employee in that circumstance. It's very interesting.
Well, I like that he handled it because one of the biggest things you got to have happen as a head coach is your message got to trickle down all the way down through the last person on that totem pole, whoever that may be. Could be a medical person, could be a cafeteria, but it doesn't matter. All the same messaging. So I'm glad that he's like, look, this isn't good. It's funny you mentioned Baselli, being the buffer. I can see how many times Tony says no to people.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, what do you think? No. What do you think? No. No, dumb idea. Well, I'm not telling Liam that.
He
Get out
probably
of here.
doesn't even have to say no. He just shakes his head.
Yeah,
He's like,
not going to happen.
Another part of that article, Lauren, that stuck out to me because they asked the coaches what like the a thing for the OTA. It said, what was the biggest curveball you got hit with during OTAs and mini camps and or mini camps? And Cohen's answer said Travis Hunter, which I think was, we've talked so much about how are they going to do it? How are you going to get this guy ready to play both sides of the ball? How are you going to get him knowing both playbooks defensively and offensively? How are you going to have him in, the meeting rooms that he needs to be in and getting that relationship with both the other cornerbacks, but also with Trevor Lawrence? And I think they're still figuring that out. But I like that Liam Coen listed that because it's such a unique situation that the Jaguars were in, and him saying, like, this was hard to try and figure out, like, every little detail when it comes to the strength side of stuff and the playbook side of stuff and everything that went into still trying to figure out how to make Travis Hunter the best player he can be on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, plus all the hype that comes with him, being who he is and what he did in college and what a big name he is nationwide and how much that brings to the table and the spotlight on the Jaguars, and you're the first-year head coach trying to deal with all that, and you got to get them ready to play both sides of the ball, get them to know everything, playbook-wise and how they run it and how he can fit in chemistry-wise.
And it was like down to the minute is what we
think about
told.
That's a lot to handle,
Liam Coen put out a spreadsheet or however he decided to do it, but literally it was down to the minute. By the way, Schottenheimer said the most or the silliest thing he had to deal with is all the players wanting to have the single-digit numbers, which I can understand.
So funny, right?
Like you don't want to have to deal with that as a head coach. All right, let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes, I think the only thing that surprised me so far as the moves that we've seen reported was the actual official news of Fred Johnson being traded. Outside of that, every other player I've seen that looks like they'll either be waived or released, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I would agree, and we'll find out here officially in about 10 minutes, which will be good, and then the real action starts. Who do they claim? Because I still think it's going to be a high number.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yep. What positions do you think? Wide receiver?
I think it's definitely wide receiver, but I just have a sense that James Gladstone's going to look at the Rams cut list and have 3 or 4 guys that he's like, I loved him. Right. And, you know, and I think Liam might have a guy or two from Tampa that he likes. And then
Trask,
obviously,
maybe?
Could be Trask. And then, you know,
Dez.
That's my guy.
Yeah. I would like to see Dez in an all teal uniform. That would be a sight to behold. But yeah, so I mean, I still think it'll be high just because I think they're going to like some guys from their former spots. So we'll see. But yeah, it'll be good to get the first initial 53, and then we'll see how it changes this time tomorrow.
Did you wear a single number at bowls?
I did not. But, you know, I understand that the jersey, I never really cared about my number. I wasn't, as you know, I can't even tell you who has what number now. But yeah, I get that the 0 is very popular. The 1, Billy Napier not even giving out the 1 this year, I think, at Florida.
Oh.
I'm sure that'll lead to a national championship. So anyway, yes, it's become another thing for coaches to have to sort of juggle. But coming up on the Frangie Show, we'll certainly give you the latest on the 53-man roster. And we'll talk some Gators game week, so that's awesome. We'll talk some Knowles, Alabama. That's going to be a great one. LSU, Clemson. So Notre Dame, Miami.
Ooh.
So it's going to be an awesome weekend.
Yeah, don't move from your couch this Saturday. We've been saying it for months, and now that
There's one game you can move from your couch. Yeah. One game. Playing Long Island.
Thank you, guys.
That game you can walk outside for a while and come back.
That's the same time as LSU Clemson, so no, you can't move. You got an important game at noon, 3:30, and 7:30. So I'm just warning you now. All right, that'll do it for us today. Like Kay said, that 53-man roster, we will find out for sure in about the next 5 minutes. For Tom McManus, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show is next.
Yeah. You keep lying when you ought to be truthing. And you keep losing when you ought to...
Sports sounds better on radio.
I love it. I love it.
You get the most live sports on 1010XL.
Lauren Brooks here. Now is a great time for Closets by Design to come to your house and create custom storage solutions for your closets, garages, laundry rooms, and entertainment centers. Doug from Closets by Design came to our house yesterday, and he's going to totally redo our closets